What's up, YouTube? Bitmer here. You guys really have been requesting a tutorial on how to build a dark deck. I don't know everything there is to know about building a dark deck. I just kind of took a shot at it, and this is what's been working. There are two-player dark cards that you can choose from. You have a choice between Dark Riku and Ansem. As I stated when I showed off the Kingdom Key, your better choice is Dark Riku, because if your opponent challenges you turn 1 and they have a Kingdom Key, they win automatically against an Ansem because you subtract 7 from their health. So Dark Riku is the better choice between the two. Not only that, he can also use attack cards instead of having to only rely on being able to play Heartless. Now, the Dark deck's a really complex deck when it comes to being able to play. It plays off the exact same rules as normal leveling when it comes to friends. But dark cards you cannot magic dark cards when they're in your opponent's friend area, because they are at that point considered friends. And magic card specifically doesn't say does so much damage to one heartless card or something like that. But when in hand, they are considered friend cards. But when in the friend area of a player dark card, they are considered to be friends. They still technically are the Heartless, but you cannot damage them by magic means. So, the only way to get them out of your opponent's friend area is to forcibly make them battle or challenge. So, I'm going to go over my deck profile really quick with you guys. Give a few explanations of why I chose a few of the cards. Let's go ahead and go over Dark Riku really quick. You can play, I'll go ahead and read it word for word for you guys, because some people don't know it. You cannot play friend cards and magic friend cards. You may put your dark cards into your friend area as if they were friend cards. You may play dark cards of the same name in this manner. So that means with Dark Riku, he ignores the unique friend rule, meaning you could have multiple shadows, multiple bouncy wilds, things like that in your friend area at one time. You may play dark cards in the same manner. The support value of dark cards played into your friend area is half of their POW rounded down. So if you have one in your friend area that's a 1, it's a 0 on support value. Treat these cards as both dark cards and friend cards. So how the company originally ruled it is because they are considered friend cards at that point. In your friend area, you're not allowed to use magic against them, because magic is only meant to be used on target cards on a world. That's not me making the rule. That's exactly how Fantasy Flight Games and the top, I don't know, I don't remember their names. One of them goes by Roxas. I mean, but I don't remember all their names, but they're the ones who put into place the rule system for how the dark deck worked, because a lot of people were confused on it, which is why people wanted me to show this, because a lot of people were confused about the deck. So let's go ahead and go over it. I play one event just for the fact it can quickly -1 health. It's a pretty good card in this deck, just for the fact of the matter that playing Riku's attack card, you can still damage your opponent more and get a quick win. 3 Black Fungus. Black Fungus is pretty much the heart and soul of this deck. It says all dark cards in both players' hands and on worlds lose -1 level. And because you can play more than one of them at once, you can subtract 3 levels from Heartless in your hand, but you cannot go below level 0. So you really have to make sure that you have a control aspect to how you are going to play your cards. And you have to really think into what level of cards, because by same rule, you cannot go above 1 level higher by playing friend cards. So you have all 3 of these. These are level 0s, meaning you cannot play level 2s off of these. You can only play level 1s. So you really have to think into exactly how you're going to be playing them and how much level is on each friend card. 3 Bouncy Wild. the deck really needs draw power. Like, it really, really needs draw power. That's basically what Bounty Wild's here for, is your draw power. 4 Shadow. Shadow says you can play as many of them in your deck as you want. Plus they give all dark cards in play, dark heartless cards in play, +1 POW. So it's a really good supporter for the deck. 2 Creeper Plant. Normally you're going to hold these in your hand until your opponent plays a Stealth Sneak on you, because that's what these do. They kill Stealth Sneaks. And that's one of the big things about Dark Heartless decks, is they do not normally have a way around, because you can't play for normal friends that would get rid of it, like Hercules or things like that. You can't play magic friends like Dumbo that would normally get rid of Stealth Sneak. So you really have to rely on Creeper Plant, which is another reason we play Bouncy Wild. You're trying to draw towards these to kill those. Pete is a really good late game, or even if you start with them, you make sure your opponent cannot play the king. But Pete says, sorry, it's been a while since I've read Pete. I haven't played this deck for a little bit. This card receives +X to its POW, where X equals the sum of your opponent's world card levels. When this card is in play, king cards cannot be played. So he gets +1 POW per level, total level on your opponent's world. So if they're at like 10 levels on world, he gets +10 POW. So he's really good. Especially if you play him on your opponent's world, you force them to have to get around him. Lock, just 1 lock. He goes and gets your Oogie Boogie if you really need to get it to put it on your opponent's world. Other than that, he's an okay level 4. You will notice that I don't play any level 3s. I do not play level 3s because of this card right here. Bit Sniper becomes your level 3s, your level 2s, your level 1s. Bit Sniper says you can discard as many cards as you want before you play him to subtract levels from him equal to the amount of cards discarded. So he is your help with level manipulation into getting into your higher levels and things like that. Because as soon as he comes into play, he goes back to the highest level he can possibly go to. So he's really good. 1 Phantom, he just kind of helps control your opponent's friend cards. 2 Air Pirate, they control your opponent's equipments, really good against Roxas. 2 Search Ghost. Search Ghost goes and gets all of your dark villain cards, which all the dark villain cards in this deck are really good and really overpowered. I know I said I played 3 of them, but I just did not have the room to shove in the other one. I mean, I try to keep the deck count low, but I mean, I know we have a maximum of 60, but with how much you're wanting to get to other cards, you don't want to push yourself to that maximum of 60. You want to get to those other cards, so you want to keep this deck count low. I think I'm sitting at like 47 or 48 cards, and I really don't want to go above that. Aqua Tank, when it comes into play, you search your deck for, if your opponent's world cards allow more, you search your deck for a dark card and shove it on your opponent's world. That can be a huge, huge game breaker. If I did fit in anything else, it would be 1 to 2 Stealth Sneak because of Aqua Tank. If you play this and you just shove a Stealth Sneak on your opponent's world, that's really amazing. But that would be the only reason I would up the deck's count, would be to put Stealth Sneak in the deck. But otherwise, with how much Heartless you are playing, you almost don't need Stealth Sneak in this deck, because you're having to force your opponent to get around really high POW Heartless anyway. Crescendo is really good. You reveal the top 2 cards of your deck and add all dark cards found there to your hand. If they're not dark cards, you discard them. That can be really critical. Like, if you play Crescendo, reveal, like, if both of them are Black Mushroom, you're adding both to your hand and you're going to slap them both on the table right then and there. So he can be really critical in the deck, but he's really good, but he's not good enough to be playing higher counts. 1 Cave of Wonders. Cave of Wonders, I explained in my last video, he's really good. All damage has to be directed at him first before damage can be dealt to other Heartless on your opponent's world. So you most of the time are going to be playing him on your opponent's world. Exact same with Cerberus. Cerberus is a cloud killer, along with your opponent has to have 3 friends in their friend area to battle against this. So he's really good. Hydra, he is one you're going to want in your friend area because his POW is huge for a level 7. He's 25 on POW, so he's really good. And then 2 Parasite Cage. Parasite Cage is redonkulous. You're always going to put this into your friend area because you always want to take advantage of his ability to where you are taking your opponent's friend cards and shoving them under this card, because they can only get their friend cards back by beating this card in battle. So if you put this into your friend area, take your opponent's friend card, put it under here, they are not getting that card back. It's going to be going into their discard pile when this card is discarded because it's not considered defeated. Go to level 8s, 1 Oogie Boogie. Oogie Boogie's got an okay POW. Also, he gets rid of all Jack Skellingtons in play, and Jack Skellington can be really critical when playing against this deck. So it's really good. 1 Jafar becomes a genie. I know I probably should be playing both Jafar and Jafar becomes a genie. Or, sorry, Jafar Genie. But again, it's just a really big room aspect kind of thing. And the Jafar becomes a genie effect is really good, but you have to have Genie Jafar in your hand for it to go off. So if your opponent beats your Jafar, and then you draw Genie Jafar, at that point you just kind of lost the effect, and you have to just play Genie Jafar as is. Hades is fantastic. He's not only at 21 POW, but his effect says when he comes into play, discard all of your opponent's Olympus Coliseum friends, and then Hercules cannot be played. Hercules cards cannot be played. Hades is kind of busted. I've almost thought about taking out the Jafar Genie and playing 2 of these, just for the fact of if I play against Hercules decks, because Hercules can be Heartless killers. He's fantastic because he, like, normally, like Oogie Boogie, he just gets rid of Jack Skellingtons or things, or Jafars get rid of Aladdins. Hades gets rid of all Olympus Coliseum friends. That is fantastic. And then we have 1 level 9. Let's spread this out. We have 1 level 9. It's the highest level dark heartless and dark villain in the game. It is Dragon Maleficent. She has an effect the exact same as Bit Sniper, but before she comes into play, you can discard as many cards from your friend area, or discard as many cards from your hand as you want, reduce her level by the same amount of cards discarded. That is fantastic, because at that point you are making sure that her level is low, and then she goes back up to a 9. Oh my god, she's amazing. For one, she's huge. I know 20 is not that big, especially since she's only a 9, but think about if you have shadows in your friend area and things like that. She's just really fun to play. It's just fun to slap her on the table. Go into attack cards. We only play 3 attack cards. Soul Eaters. Soul Eaters are just there to kill your opponent's health. That's it. Magic, play 2 fire because you do have 2 magic on your player card. You can play fire, you can play any level 2 or below magic. So I chose to do 2 fires and a cure. Sorry. 2 fires and a cura. This helps sustain health, and these 2 are just making sure that you're getting rid of Heartless without having to waste your own Heartless to battle against them. It's not really a World Racer deck, but we play enough Worlds to World Race. 2 End of the World. Your opponent can play Dark and Nobody cards of any level on this world, but they can only play up to 3 of them. And then also, when you are playing level 3 or below friends into your friend area, they go down to a level 1. Then when they come into play, they go back up to their highest level of what they normally would be. So if you're playing a level 3 without Black Mushrooms, they come down to a 1, then they go back up to a level 3, meaning you can manipulate and play level 4s from there. It's really good. 2 Atlantica. You have enough friends in this deck to sacrifice a couple to play this card. Its cost is really not that big. That's really not. 1 Hollow Bastion. You know how I feel about Hollow Bastion. It's really not that hard of a cost. 2 Traverse Town. Again, just for them gaining 1 POW. That's not a huge deal. And then I play 1 Halloween Town. I just kind of wanted a diverse levels because you're not really focusing on worlds. I wanted more diverse worlds just to kind of keep it a little more, ooh, sorry, did not mean to kick the thing. Foot twitched. Kind of a little more diverse on worlds to make it look a little better. whatever. So I'm going to go into a couple of choices, other than I know I just explained why I played a bunch of things, but I really want to explain why. Let's go ahead and start off with your biggest supporters for the deck of dark cards are your Bit Snipers and Black Mushrooms. Bit Snipers, like I said, you discard as many cards from your hand as you want to reduce its level by 1 per every card discarded. Now, if you discard 4 cards, he becomes a level 0 when coming into play, then goes back up to level 4. So these are your biggest supporters for the deck, other than Black Fungus. Black Fungus is great because every dark card in hand and on either player's world loses a level. So you want to try to get to these as quick as you can to reduce your level, to manipulate your hand for how many you have and everything like that. These are your biggest characters in the deck. Like, these are your biggest Heartless that you want at 3. If your guys are wanting to build a Dark Heartless deck or Dark Villain deck, please play 3 of each of these in your deck. I cannot stress enough how big of a huge deal these are in a deck because of how hard it is to level manipulate. These make the level manipulation a ton easier. That's kind of one of the reasons I play the Dragon Maleficent, is because, again, she's a level manipulation. Because at that point, if you play her, you can play 1 level lower, meaning you can play your level 8s off of her if she's a level 8 or anything like that because of her level manipulation. She is fantastic. I already said why I play the Parasite Cages, but you really want Parasite Cage to keep control of your opponent's friend area. So, I'm not really going to go into deck construction. I'm just kind of going into criticisms of what cards need to be played. Dragon Maleficent doesn't need to be played in this deck. I personally like her for the level manipulation. She is considered to be the hardest to find dark villain card because she is from the hardest to find set. So if you guys can't find her, I'd just replace her with another Jafar Genie or something of the sort. Or even a 3rd Parasite Cage, a 2nd Cave of Wonders Guardian, more Hydra, heck, even a 2nd Crescendo or the 3rd Aqua Tank. So if you guys can't find her, there are replacements to play. One final note before I finish the video. These, I explained a little bit, you have to play 2 to 3 of these in a deck. Like, you have to play 2 to 3 of these in the deck. Because with Creeper Plant, it is your only way to kill Stealth Sneaks. And that is the biggest problem that dark player card decks have to get around, is Stealth Sneak. If you can't get around Stealth Sneak, you have to focus on beating your opponent's teeth in when it comes to health damage. And you want... This is a Jack of all trades deck. I've explained what they are before, but this one is possible to world race or beat your opponent by health because you are playing your 3 Soul Eaters. So please play 2 to 3 Creeper Plant if you're wanting to build this deck, because it is your only way to beat Stealth Sneaks. So I really hope you guys found this deck profile, this deck video to be helpful. If you did, please make sure to thumbs up. I really enjoy doing these Kingdom Hearts videos. I know you guys are really enjoying some of them. So if you guys keep enjoying them, don't ever forget to hit that thumbs up button. Just makes me know that you guys really are enjoying what I do, because I do put my time into it and think through what I'm building. So it's a fun little deck. It's really complex. You have to really do math before you play your cards, and really think into your plays. It's a very, very, very complex deck. I can't stress enough how much you have to think through every play with this deck. There's a lot of decks, including my tournament deck, that really... It's a very simple piloted deck. I didn't want to build my tournament deck to be very, very complex. I built it just to be really good. But this deck is very complex in thinking and thought process, and you really have to think through everything. A lot of people talk about Pokemon decks or Yu-Gi-Oh decks and things like that that are considered autopilot. this in no way is an autopilot deck. You have to think through exactly how you're going to play your Black Fungus, or play your Maleficent, or what am I going to do to get to the Creeper Plant, or what am I going to do, what do I really need to discard off the Bit Sniper to make sure that next turn, if I draw right, I can draw into what I need and continue leveling up all my friends into level 8s and make sure that my opponent fears my board. Because that's what this deck is. I understand it's a dark deck, but you build fear in your opponent by playing these huge Heartless cards. You take Sephiroth and Clouds with these, your opponent does. It's really hard to come away from that. So please don't forget to thumbs up. If you guys liked it, comment down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys later. Peace, guys.